Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a what's for dinner and I hope you enjoy. Let's get started with the first recipe. So on this night I did make a quick and easy air fryer chicken wrap. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to chop up some romaine lettuce, or you can use really any lettuce that you prefer, iceberg, spinach, whatever. Next, you are going to chop up some tomato. Of course, if your family doesn't like tomato, you can skip this step, but we do like tomato in this house, so I went ahead and chopped up about half of a tomato. So for the chicken, I did just season that with onion powder, garlic powder, salt and pepper, and then I put it in the air fryer for the recommended time. It did get a little bit crispy, but we like some crispy meat around here. So next up, you're gonna shred your chicken up. You can also dice it up, whatever you like. I just feel like on the wrap, it's easier to eat when it's a little bit more like shredded. Once your chicken is all shredded, you are just going to get your favorite wrap. You can use, again, any kind of wrap. I'm just using a regular flour tortilla. You're just going to lay down your bed of lettuce. You're going to top it with your desired amount of chicken. Next, I'm just going to add some shredded cheese and then top it with a little bit of homemade ranch. Lastly, I am going to add some of those tomatoes right on top. And that is the finished product. I did go ahead and make some French fries to go along with this. And that is what's for dinner. So on this night, I am going to be making Copycat Panera summer corn chowder and the watermelon salad that they used to make. These are the ingredients that you will need, and no, you will not need that cheddar cheese soup. I don't know why I threw that in there, but I did. So the first thing you are going to do is you're going to want to take those baby red potatoes and you're going to want to slice them up, and then you're going to dice them. Luckily, I have this handy dandy dicer, so it made everything a lot easier for me. And then you're going to want to boil your potatoes until they are ever so slightly tender. You don't want to overcook them because they will continue to cook once you add the rest of the soup together. Now I'm going to just go ahead and chop up my romaine lettuce for my salad. You're going to want to wash and rinse that well. I already had some pre-diced watermelons. I'm just going to add, I don't know, maybe 20 to 25 pieces of that. And of course, you can add more or less depending on how much you love watermelon, which I absolutely love it. So I'm adding a good bit. Next, you're going to go in and add some feta cheese. Again, you can add more or less depending on your preference. And then you're going to go in and add the sliced almonds. And you're going to be topping this with this champagne vinaigrette. I do recommend topping it as needed, not in the actual bowl itself. So back to the soup, you are going to reserve about a cup of the water from the potatoes. And then you're just going to add in your cream corn, your Southwest corn, the evaporated milk, 2 tablespoons of salsa, the frozen corn kernels, the garlic salt, and the white pepper. And you're basically just going to cook this on medium to medium low heat until the potatoes are cooked all the way through. And that is the finished product. I did go ahead and add a little bit of cheese in this just because I felt like it was missing a little something. But it was really good and it tasted very, very comparable to the Panera summer corn chowder. So on this night, I am going to be making the Copycat Disneyland Monte Cristo. These are the basic ingredients that you will need, along with some white bread. So you're going to lay out your sliced white bread. And you can, of course, double this recipe if you have more people to feed. But since it was just the 3 of us, we went ahead and just had 6 slices of white bread. Then you're going to add in 2 slices of ham and 2 slices of turkey, which you will see I will go back later and add more ham. And then you are going to top that with the Swiss and the American cheese. Next time I make this, I think I will use cheddar cheese. I'm not a huge fan of American cheese to begin with, but that's what the recipe called for. So that's what I use, but I think next time we will definitely try it with the cheddar cheese. Next, you're going to take the sandwiches and just put them together, and then you're going to actually poke 2 toothpicks on each side of the sandwich to hold the sandwich in place so you can prepare it for the batter. I also decided to make some homemade fries or homemade potato chips, whatever you want to call them. So I'm just slicing up the rest of the red potatoes that I had left over from the soup the other night, and I'm just going to top that with some Cajun seasoning and pop them in the air fryer. Next, for the batter, you're going to add in 1 egg. You're going to add in 1 to 1 1/4 cup of water. You're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of sugar. I actually ended up using powdered sugar. And then you're going to add in 1 1/2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and then you're going to need vegetable oil for deep frying. And you're just going to want to mix all of those ingredients together, and you're going to make the batter for the sandwiches. Now that you have the batter blended together, you're going to dip your sandwiches. So you're going to want to dip the edges and then each side. This is where those toothpicks come in handy, because if you didn't have them in there, your sandwich would fall apart. It is really difficult to dip these regardless, but I highly recommend grabbing some toothpicks and using them for this recipe. Now you're just going to basically fry each side of the sandwich until it is a beautiful golden brown. And once it is all done, you're just going to top with the remainder of your powdered sugar. And then you are going to garnish this with some raspberry jam. And as you can see here, here's the raspberry jam and the homemade potato chips. This was probably my most favorite recipe of this week, and I highly recommend it. Okay, so on the next night, I did decide to make Copycat Cracker Barrel hash brown casserole. So for this recipe, you are going to need about 2 pounds of the shredded hash browns. I did actually cut this recipe in half just because we weren't feeding that many people with it. And then you're gonna go in and add in your cheddar cheese soup. Next, you're going to go in and add your sour cream and your onion, which I did off screen. And then you're going to add in your melted butter. And once you have added all of these ingredients, you are just going to combine them together to make a nice mixture. Now that everything is combined, you're just going to top with salt and pepper, and then you're going to add that sharp cheddar cheese right on top. And you are going to want to bake this on 350 for approximately 30 to 45 minutes, depending on your oven. So that is the finished product. This was also a very highly recommended and delicious recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, thanks for being my kind of weird. Bye.